everybody, my name is Gabrielle Gerbis. I am the owner and founder of Incubix Branding, where we empower people and businesses to tell their stories. Now, the next 5 videos in this mini-series are going to be extremely helpful. We're going to be going over the top 5 most common branding mistakes that I see a lot of companies, primarily tech companies, making in their branding. So we're gonna go over the mistake, perhaps an example of that mistake, perhaps an example of somebody who does it well, and of course, some advice on some steps you can take to avoid making that same mistake and making your branding really stick out. Before we get into the top 5 most common mistakes, we need to talk about why this matters. Now, I have had the absolute pleasure of working with hundreds of business owners, tech startup founders, and hardworking CEOs, right? And one thing that many of them struggle with is how to describe their company, what they do for people, and why it matters in 5 sentences or less. The big problem with that is if you are unable to do that, and if your employees are unable to do that, then how on earth is your designer, is your marketing team, are your customers supposed to know? So the entire point of branding is to tell a story, a compelling story, an emotional story, and one that can't necessarily be communicated in a pitch deck or a sales letter. These top 5 most common branding mistakes that I see are often the result of people not understanding that core message, that core promise, whether it is the owner or the CEO or whoever is in charge of building a website or designing their marketing campaign. There appears to be a disconnect, which means there will of course be a disconnect between the true purpose, the why of that company, and how an audience or a customer interprets it. If you haven't watched my other videos on what is a brand promise, why you need it, and the number 1 question I ask my clients when discussing branding with them, you should definitely check out those videos. But without further ado, let's get into the first most common mistake, and that will be in the next video. So click on.